I think the genesis of the movie was a conversation with a friend about what would you do if you were told this was your last day. And we both decided that we wouldn't want to win an Oscar or, go paragliding, that we just want a very normal day at home, giving breakfast to the kids, doing the things you normally do, seeing your friends, having dinner with the family and stuff. And I thought that's such a kind of interesting observation to me that obviously it went through my mind, how could I write a movie, the climax of which was that decision? And I thought, well, it would probably have to be someone who can manipulate their final day or manipulate their life in some way to come to that conclusion. And I think I then thought, oh, if you could time travel, and therefore you would think, where would I go to? Which bits of my life would I go to? And the answer is, you just go to the bit of your life you're in at the moment, which is just full of the same joys that every day should be. So it came about as a result of a conversation with Simon. It was quite difficult, the casting process, because the person who looked like they were going to be the best, who was Domhall Gleeson, had an enormous orange beard and looked like a 35-year-old Russian autocrat. So trying to audition this guy, because he was in the middle of Anna Karenina, and trying to imagine what does he actually even look like. I've got no idea what's going on behind that massive roseate bush. But Domhall had a lot of the qualities I most love. I mean, he actually has many of them as a human being. But he has, doubt, high spirits, optimism. And so he was, finally, it was quite an easy decision to make. You have to cast people who you really love. And this was a particularly kind of complicated in its uncomplicatedness, because she's not an effect. She's not, it's not one of those films where she's a strong businesswoman and he's this, or she's tough and he's not. And what I wanted is somebody who, the texture of whom I just adored, because you have to go from falling in love right through to being the mother of 3 children. And, Rachel McAdams is somebody who every time I've ever seen them in a film, I just sort of melt into this sense of comfort and love. So I was lucky to get her. This really is my first film about family, and it's as much to do with a brother and a sister and a father and a mother as it is to do with love. And of course it is the way that, when 2 people fall in love, they are finally going to turn into a mother and a father, and you see that happening during the course of the film. There was only one bit of the time travel which was complicated and interesting, which was when the whole dynamics of how Rachel is feeling about Domhall and Domhall is feeling about Rachel, because in so many scenes Rachel was meeting Domhall for the first time and Domhall was meeting her for the second time or the third time, and that was quite complicated and quite interesting, because she was always meant to really like the look of him, but as it were, she kept on not being able to develop. You'd say, well, here we are, Rachel, so this is your 3rd scene with Domhall, and you behave exactly the same as you did in the last 2 scenes, because you didn't know the last 2 scenes have occurred. So that was quite fun and complicated.